the happy couple with the dove of peace, and then the couple on the right have a child, so no more peace. Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go! Well, it's the end of day one of our shopping marathon, and boy did we have fun. I dragged all the little stuff up to the hotel room. I left the croquet set, which I paid $20 for because it's wood and had all the balls and the wickets. And I left the chewing gum stand, which I also paid $20 for, in the car. And I left 3 road signs, which I think I paid $7 to $10 each for. And they're fun. So those stayed in the car because they were big and dirty. But I put everything else on the cart because I thought it would be fun to do a haul video right away, and because I need to make lists of what I paid for everything and figure that out. This is not the hotel's bedspread. I bought this. It's marked Made in Italy. It has a little cloth label that says so. It is Italian, I'd say 1960s probably. It's not as refined as the very nice silk one that I had for sale that I showed in videos in Florida over the winter. But this is nicely done. It's got a little bit of staining that you can probably see there. It looks like somebody spilled coffee on it in a couple of places. This was so inexpensive that I didn't let that stop me anyway, because it was only $3. And I thought, well, first of all, you can turn it over and you get this really great image on the reverse. This is the back of the blanket, and I thought, well, that looks pretty neat. Somebody might like to display it like that. I also thought that for $3 I can probably dye it with a nice sort of amber dye and give it a little warmer tone, and that staining will go away because there weren't any holes or problems with it otherwise. Also for $3 was this piece of fabric, and Barb convinced me to get this, and I think she was right. It's from the 70s, and you can probably tell. It's got that Irish linen where it's almost a burlappy. You can see the little flecks and impurities in it. It gives it more of a folksy appeal, as does this image, and I just thought these were really fun. The colors are very 70s. It has Sovereign Textiles Incorporated printed on the edge of it. And I'm guessing that this might be 4 or 5 yards of this fabric for $3. Somebody is going to do something really cool with that. Not me, because I can't sew a button, but I'll sell it to someone who can. And then the quilt top was a whopping $4. Can you believe it? I was very excited by that. It hasn't been finished. The rings are great. It's got a nice texture to it. We're going to try to date it. Let's take a look at our fabrics here. We have some happy bright green that looks like a 50s or 60s color. And that really does seem, this looks like it's all cotton. I really look for all cotton or natural materials. I don't care for the synthetics in quilts. Although I've seen some lovely stuff made with synthetic fabric, but I like cotton. I like the way it feels, and I have sensitive skin that does not like synthetics, so my personal want would be something like this. And I'm looking at all these little pieces of fabric, and I'm not seeing anything newer than I would say late 50s or early 60s. So this does have some age, and what an incredibly great price. We walked up when a dealer had just pulled up his trailer and was just unloading boxes and said, here, you can all dig. And everyone else got to dig before I even got there for probably 4 or 5 minutes because I was shopping in another booth, and I still bought a ton of great stuff, and so did everyone else, including these Modernist tile plaques. These were $10 for the pair. I do not know this artist, A.T., but clearly the oranges and the white are 1970s again. It's got a great Modernist vibe. The happy couple with the dove of peace, and then the couple on the right have a child, so no more peace. I remember being that child with my parents, and I was a lovely child, but I was not quiet, as you can probably imagine. Finished off well on the back with a nice board, so they're going to stay together. That's important. Ready to hang. I just think those are dynamite, and what a great deal. This was also a very good deal. Let me get it out of the backlight so you can see it a little better. This is Caro-Nan out of Mississippi. And Caro-Nan was known, this was the basket purse that made them famous. They would always put a penny on top for luck, and so you never were broke if you were carrying one of these. And then they would do these decoupage of various, this is Carefree Days, New Look. They do travel stuff, so you've got Friendly as a Pup in Switzerland and You'll Love Rio, but then on the bottom they would screen paint these, and then they would hand paint in, this was probably Blyer's, would have been the shop that this was sold at. You've got Illinois Central, a railroad reference, and there's SIU, Southern Illinois University. Very important with these, this is a larger of the two sizes that they made, very important that there not be any broken or cracked weaves, and there are not in this one. And there's Blyer's College Shop. So this would have been for the college set in the early 70s. Crab Orchard Lake. Norge, that's the dry cleaner. And inside, this was typically the fabric you found in this style that they did. And it's in good shape with no stains or tears. This, I believe he charged me 10. These sell for about 30 to 35 typically. And I do very well with them when I go out west because the Japanese women who come to visit the Seattle area, once that starts happening again, love anything with American writing. There are other collectors too, of course. I hit a garage sale on the way here and found these little Franklin butterflies, and they were just cute and very inexpensive. The bird plate, I think, was all of $1/4. The tea leaf ironstone tray is with a back stamp, so that makes it right around 1900. This is ironstone, and ironstone was a very heavy earthenware fired more densely to make it close to, sometimes you'll hear it called semi-porcelain, but this is tea leaf ironstone, which came out in the mid-1800s initially. You can see the copper luster in it still. And copper luster was very popular as a decorating finish on ceramics in the 1840s and 50s initially, but the tea leaf ironstone remained popular until the early 1900s. This little bank is glass. I got on a bank kick today. You're going to see some more banks here. This one was just a few dollars. It's Carnival Glass, but you can see it's a very weak sheen. This would have been made in the 1950s or 60s. It's not the really great heavily covered, it's not the really deep color in the glass that you usually see with these, and so it's just a sheen, but it's cute, and I like the patriotic motif. Behind is a nice little Fenton bulbous pink ewer. I think I paid $14 for that. They sell around $30. Cute little salt and pepper sets. These were 3 for $5. And this was after Misty and Jeffrey had already been through these. I went back and found a few more I thought were cute. And I get the old ones that have the corks, or had the corks in them. These are 1930s, these are 50s, these are 50s. It's the real thing. That was the Coke slogan in the 1970s. I think that was $2. This was cute. It was on a $5 table. I like the Western motif. It's got a comb that goes with it, but it's a child's hair or clothing brush from the 1950s. And look at that great graphic with the horse and rider as they're saving the calf out in the snow. Also along the Western theme, here's one of the banks I got with the two happy guys next to the big cactus. You can see I paid a whopping $4 for that. And then this donkey bank was the same price. I thought that was a wonderful price. And these are 1950s Japan. I got this railroad lock with key, and I paid $20 for this. They sell for about $40 if you get the right customer. But I like this one because it's CRINP. That's Chicago, Rock Island, and Pacific. That's one of the routes that my grandfather worked on. And so I liked the fact that it had a connection to a road that is a fairly popular one to collect. It's not really obscure, although some of the obscure ones can be valuable because they're scarce. This little bit here, $5 it says on it. You could use it to trim a cigar or to put a little portrait in. The hole in it means that if you were using it for pills, they'd have to be little pills that you shake out one at a time. But the reason I got this is it's aluminum and it's 1901. This is from the Pan American World's Fair in Buffalo, where McKinley, the president, was shot. And the Pan Am World's Fair, besides the fact that a lot of people collect 1901 Pan Am, 1901 was also the year they discovered how to make aluminum out of bauxite so that it stopped being a semi-precious metal. It was very hard to get aluminum before this. So this would have been a very big deal at the time of the World's Fair because it was a new thing. This is ceramic. It's a child's bubble blowing pipe. It says $5. I think I got a little bit off of that. It's marked Germany. This would be from the 19-teens. So while I'm thinking of it, please comment in the space below here and also hit the thumbs up button to like this video. If you haven't subscribed, click the subscribe button below. Also hit the bell below to be notified of new videos coming every Monday and Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And thank you so much for following along. Let's go back to this video. This kitty cat here, again, I could not believe how cheap the guy's prices were. Now this isn't a 20th century one, so it's not extreme high value, but this is Kutani from Japan, and you can't really tell anything about that looking at the base because the base had some sort of an adhesive backing that had been glued to it that I took off in order to try to determine the age. But then when he said it was $5, I realized I didn't care how old it was. It does have some wear. Now these used to sell, even 20th century examples, for a few $100s. I don't think it's going for that now, but the fact that it was there for $5, I think I really scored on that. How good a deal did I get? Well, I'll have to find out when I do the research. 1960s ice bucket. It was just a good design. It was only $6. There were a couple of tumblers that came with it. Little Francoma boot. That was $5. And these are cute and people like them, and that was certainly a good price. This came from the vendor mall that we went to this morning. This was $8, but this is Victorian, and it's like Ruby Flash, except if you look at the color, it's a little browner. This is what they call pigeon blood. That's what the color of red that they are trying to approximate with this. It's gilded on the inside. There's no cracks, and that's why I bought it, that and the fact that it had a bird. And I just thought that was very sweet. It's a form of Bristol glass. It would have been a nice little dresser jar. This guy I bought because he looks like a candy container. They're often sold as candy containers, but in this case he has the wide mouth, and he was for glycerin and rosewater bath bubbles, and he has his little cardboard hat. So this guy is from the 60s, one of the later ones. I think he was $8 with the discount. This is Pigeon forged pottery. You don't often see this with hand-painted floral decoration, so it's about a $30 piece, and I paid a little less than half of that. I thought the flower on this was neat. This is one of these old pencil sharpeners where you turn it and the shavings go inside and the blade is underneath. And it's got a nice stamped mark on the bottom, so this is going to date to sometime in the early 1900s. And again, it was on the $5 table. Couldn't believe I found a $5 table at an antique show. That was pretty great. Now, Shawnee did not make this particular cookie jar. This is Goldilocks, but she's a good one, and she was in great shape. Now, I did step up a little. I paid $30 for her, but I've seen her sell for as much as $130 recently, and the red is good. It's not worn off. Her lips are there, everything is intact, it didn't have any chips or cracks. I think that one's a winner. By the way, she's by Regal China, which is a competitor of Shawnee's. Shawnee used to make things like that, and then in the 50s, Shawnee, I think in 1955, completely stopped making all the whimsical stuff and went modern in order to stay in business, and it worked. I think they lasted almost another 10 years. Only paid $10 for this. This is a $20 to $25 vase. $20 plus shipping easily on eBay because of the color. The little Atlas bank, I told you I went bank crazy today. This one I paid $8, they sell for about $15. This is an Atlas battery from the 1950s. They're fairly common, but it was in good shape. Paid $4 for the Mary Hadley little pig ornament. I just thought that was cute, and for that price I could afford to get it. This Van Briggle is nice because you see the iris a lot. You don't really see this white with the blue often. You see it in just plain white. This is from Colorado Springs, where Yvonne Thrifty Rich lives. And it says so right on the bottom. It's got the Anna Van Briggle mark. That's that A at the top. And this looks like it's more likely to be a 1950s or 60s piece from that mark. Now, I did make a point to look for jewelry because I need some fresh stock in jewelry. Let's see if this light works. Oh, good. That's much better, don't you think? Okay, well, now that we can see better, here is this really neat carved ebony piece with the tacking and a little metal attachment there at the collar that looks like a leaf. That may or may not be sterling. I got this for $20. That may seem like a lot, but a nicely carved wood pin like that is obviously older, that's got to be at least 60 years old, that's going to be a seller. I paid $20 for this. It is a very high style Art Nouveau pin. I liked the stripe down the middle of this green glass stone. The little rhinestones, it's just got a lot of detail, and I know it's real because it's got this safety catch. And I paid $20 for that because, again, I think for the right collector, it's a very specific collector who likes this type of Art Nouveau jewelry, but this is going to sell for somewhere in the $50 range, I would think. This set here was only $12. It doesn't show well there. Let's get it up in the light where you can see there. That's a little better. It's a very nice deep honey amber and sort of root beer colored pin, and it's Japan. The black is called Japanning, and that little mark there says made in Austria. So some of the crystals could be Swarovski because they're made in Austria, and it's got the pair of earrings with. And then this set here I know is made in Germany because I've had these before, and I paid $12. I thought the Capri Blue was nice. This is late 60s, early 70s. It's got a fancy neckline and nice earrings, so I think that's definitely a good piece to buy as well. Obviously I thought so because I bought it. Okay, up here on the order of something completely different, let's see if we can make this light go with us a little bit because it is kind of dark. They say it's going to rain tomorrow, so I'm glad we got one day of shopping in before the rain. Okay, here we go. I'll just hold the lamp for a minute. This has a nice mark on the bottom. I think it's Borghese. Now I have to put that lamp down so we can see. It's Florentine. There were a couple of different companies that made this Italian goldware. It's a peppermill, and it does work. And that's very important because people buy these to use. It was only $10. I thought that was a very good price. The Little Pig Bank, another bank. $9, American bisque. The Insecticide Spray Gun, I paid $12. This will probably be a gift to my cousin who likes poison-related things and has a small spray gun collection going, and I just thought the name was really great. It's out of the 50s. People used to throw these away. Now they're collecting them. These little chalk gals, they're 1940s or 50s, and they were just sweet. We all looked at them. I ended up being the one to spring for them. I think they were only $6 for the pair. And then I have the set of 7 dwarves plus Snow White. Only one of them has a little bit of damage. There's one little hole in the corner of either Sleepy or Sneezy there. Let me see if I can show you. Sleepy has a little problem. Otherwise, they're in great shape, and they had the entire set. These are hard to find because they were so thin. They're very light plastic from the 50s, and they typically got broken like Sleepy did. The fact that they're all here and mainly intact meant that I was happy to pay $25 for them. I really like this hanging planter basket. I do not know who the maker was. It appears to be American. It reminds me of Roseville's Donatello and some of the Weller patterns of that time, so we'll do some research and see if we can identify who did this. I'm almost sure it was one of the Ohio potteries. This is Fire King, the batter bowl. This is an easy $45 to $50 sale. Every time you get one, I'm low on jadeite. It was 20 bucks. I almost wish I'd gotten both of them. The other one had a tiny scratch. I probably should have taken it anyway. Screen print state tumblers. I got Georgia, Tennessee, and Missouri because they're all close to where I sell in Kentucky, and they were only $2 each. And then in terms of really weird, and Misty and I like really weird, so I guess I was inspired because it's funny, we all egged each other on. None of us were the voice of reason. Every time anyone picked anything up, we were like, oh, you should get that, oh, you should get that. So, but this guy, I just thought was so strange. It's for Staley Feeds. It's just a little advertising glass. I think it was $3. I guess if you feed your pig, he'll become very fat and lose a leg in a war or something because he's a buccaneer. So it was so strange I had to buy it. And then the very last thing, which I'm really excited about, are these. These are Levi's. They're a little on the small side. That's the only problem. They're 2732s. Now, it may be that that's small enough for women to wear, and that's what I'm hoping. I'm going to try to figure out what size woman a 2732 would be. I paid $20 a piece. I know that they can sell for about $40 and on up. The ones I saw that sold online, they did not have the original labels and tags. Originally, these were $16 back in the early 70s, so what a deal. And then they were marked down to $9.95 and $12.95. These were dead stock out of an old store that had been closed for 30 years, and the dealer had bought a bunch. These were the last three, and I'm sure they were there because they were smaller sizes, but I didn't care because they're just so fabulous and perfect. So that's the day one haul, and I'm really excited because we have another entire day of shopping ahead of us, and I need stock for my upcoming shows. So very excited to find all of this, very glad to bring it all to you. I'm George the Antique Nomad on, well, all sorts of social media that you'll see listed below. And I am glad to have you share me with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, because then you can click that bell to be notified about future videos, and we'll see you here again. Thanks now. Bye-bye. Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media daily posts and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.